Exercise set 2.1, Finding Relevant Examples, from a Workbook for Arguments by Morrow and Weston. So the objective of this exercise set is to give you practice finding relevant, appropriate examples to support a generalization. A few tips for success. So a generalization is a claim about some or all things of a certain type. When thinking about generalizations, it's helpful to ask yourself two questions. First, what type of thing is the generalization about? Second, what does the generalization say about things of that type? Consider the fast food example from the previous video. So, what type of thing is it about? It's about fast food products. But what does it say about the members of that group? It says that they're all unhealthy. So, to give good examples in support of a generalization, you need to be sure that your examples involve the right types of things. If you want to support the generalization that fast foods are unhealthy, you need to give examples of things that are both fast foods and unhealthy. Some generalizations are negative, not because they say something mean about that type of thing, but because they say that few or no things of that type are a certain way. So this is going in the opposite direction of a positive or a regular generalization. So for example, no mammals can breathe underwater. What type of thing is this generalization about? Well, mammals, of course. And what is it that it's saying about them? Well, it's saying that none of them can breathe underwater. To give examples for this generalization, you need to find things that are mammals and that are not able to breathe underwater. But watch out. Not all generalizations are expressed as clearly as the ones that we've considered so far. You'll sometimes need to think carefully about what a generalization means before you go out looking for examples. All right, the instructions for this exercise set. We're going to go through the sample exercise and most of the odd-numbered exercises from exercise set 2.1. After I present each example, pause the video and find 2 or 3 relevant examples to support each of the following generalizations. You may have to do a little research to find good examples in some cases, depending on your knowledge of some of these things. And after each example, I'll of course give an explanation. So, here's the sample example. Lots of professional sports teams are named after animals. So, what might be some examples here? A few examples. The Chicago Bulls, the Florida Marlins, the Philadelphia Eagles. These are all professional sports teams that are named after animals. All right, number 1. All birds can fly. What are some examples of birds that can fly? Oh, here's a few. Pigeons, parakeets, and swans. Now, of course, we all know that this generalization is ultimately going to end up being wrong, right? Because not all birds can fly. But if we're looking at examples to support the generalization that all birds can fly, right, we need examples of birds that can fly. So, pigeons, parakeets, swans, and so on. Everyone who walked on the moon in the 20th century was American. This one might require a little bit of research. Here's a few examples. Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Ken Mattingly. Remember, all astronauts who walked on the moon that were American. All right. Most fruits are sweet when they're ripe. Okay, what are some examples of this? So, fruits that are sweet when they're ripe. Here's a few answers. Pineapples, oranges, guava, and of course there's more. All right. Question 7. Developed democratic countries no longer practice capital punishment. So what supports this generalization? Remember, we need developed democratic countries and ones that no longer practice capital punishment. This might be another example that requires a little bit of research. Here's a few examples: Australia, Italy, and Canada. Okay, the final example. England has produced famous musicians. So remember here, for this generalization, we need people from England that are famous musicians. What are a couple examples? Here's a few: John Lennon, Elton John, and Adele.